Hi, I'm Ruthie, your host for the Defiant Business Podcast, your Monday through Friday 10-minute shot of business knowledge. And today I want to talk to you about a term that you may not be familiar with. This term is the secondary customer. And I want to know, are you taking care of them? And maybe you're thinking, Ruthie, secondary customer? I'm just trying to handle the regular customers that I have. Why are you bringing up this secondary customer? I promise they're not magical beings that are hard to get to. You already have them. What's important is that you recognize them. So in content or content marketing, this will be called your secondary target audience. And some businesses have more than one target audience. So those still usually fall within the primary target audience unless, indicated otherwise by your strategist. But your secondary audience or your secondary customer, who are they? They would be your second most important audience. So the primary audience typically being the customer or client who will spend the most, right? And your secondary audience may not spend as much or not purchase as often, or they may not even purchase at all. And you're thinking, if they don't purchase anything at all ever, why would I create content for them? Ah, yes. Now we've come to the root of the problem, and I've got an answer for you. So with product-based businesses or, software as a service, because that kind of falls in the product business as well, it's a little easier to see why you would create content for your secondary audience. For most products, the secondary audience are services who utilize that product. So you would create content for services that consult for your product or offer management services. If it's a software, they offer software management services for your product. A great example of this is HubSpot. HubSpot creates a ton of content for agencies and consulting firms that specialize in working with HubSpot software. So they write content for them. There's a special email list for HubSpot agencies. HubSpot's even created a HubSpot partner program. So you can be, a bronze or a silver or a gold level HubSpot partner. I think there's even platinum and diamond. And so HubSpot will list these agencies and firms on a website, and customers get diverted if they're asking for help that HubSpot doesn't have it within their business setup to deliver. HubSpot will direct customers to that website so they can find a consulting firm who can help them. So it's incredibly fascinating. And even at a lower level where you're not like a HubSpot partner agency, HubSpot also has the HubSpot Academy, which is content for customers, but they know that freelancers and smaller consulting firms, much like Defy the Status Quo, uses HubSpot and uses the content and finds value in it. So why would HubSpot create content that would help defy the status quo? Well, not necessarily defy the status quo in particular, but HubSpot's gotten a lot of free publicity from me. I recommend them. I talk great things about them. So through their content, I got to know them as an organization, and I trust them, and I'm confident when I direct people to the website. So by helping these agencies and freelancers and consultants become more successful, HubSpot is more successful because these service businesses direct more people to purchase HubSpot's software. So if you offer services, though, who is your secondary audience? Now, this is a little tougher, and for every single business, you kind of have to suss it out. You have to find it. It's not quite as easy as with product-based businesses. So with service businesses, it may be related industries. So if I wanted to create content for one of my secondary audiences, let's say web design companies are a secondary audience. Why? Because web design companies may not always have the content professionals on staff. So I've got relationships with web design companies, and if they have clients who need content written, they recommend me, among others, but they recommend me as one of their go-to, content consultants. So I'm a secondary audience and they're my secondary audience. Maybe I write an article called The Importance of Excellent Web Design in Content Marketing. I would pick a title that was way more interesting than that. But let's just go with that as the topic. If I write that, do a video and everything else, it's something that I could email or send through LinkedIn or Instagram to any of the web design companies that I've partnered with and any that I would like to partner with in the future. So that's valuable because they read it, they see that I understand them, and I see how web design fits within content marketing. And that is gonna, move the needle in my favor in terms of likability, because nobody wants to feel as if they're unimportant. And a lot of times, content professionals can put a little too much emphasis on content and not give good web design its due. And it's incredibly important. I could write the best content for your website, but if customers look at it and they're like, hey, so 2005's calling and they want their website design back, my wonderfully written content just isn't going to make it as far as if your website is modern and mobile optimized and the brand colors are beautiful and on point and the designs are wonderful. It's just not going to work as well. So you always want to, that's why I would address my secondary audience of web design agencies. So another secondary audience for me, like an actual secondary audience, is entrepreneurs. Now, it's a little broad. That is broad. Entrepreneurs is broad, but it's usually service entrepreneurs. And these are typically people that I've met, people who've heard me speak, people who like my content on LinkedIn. These are my secondary audience type folks. They may not have room in their budget to purchase my services or pay my fees to bring me on to consult with them on their content and their content marketing strategy yet, but they love my content and they share it and they comment on it and they recommend me for marketing opportunities and they recommend me to bigger companies that they know. And that is why entrepreneurs are my secondary audience. And if you go through my content, you will see I do have business management, business development type content, as well as marketing content on my podcast, on my website. And that's because, well, one, I work with B2B consulting and service companies. So a lot of that comes with business management and business development. But I can take what my primary audience normally delivers to their even bigger clients, and I can switch it around and apply it to entrepreneurship and smaller businesses. And that kind of feeds my secondary audience's need for knowledge and knowledge that they can appreciate, that, kind of maybe takes a different perspective on things. And by doing that, again, it tilts that needle, in the right direction in terms of my likability. And people do business with and they recommend people and businesses that they like. And that is why you want to create content for your secondary customers. So I'm asking you, are you taking care of your secondary customers in your content, in your marketing strategy? Are you supporting them as they support you, as they go out there and they recommend you for these opportunities and, marketing and actual clients and everything? Are you supporting them the way that they support you? All right. So that's been an episode of the Defiant Business Podcast. I look forward to seeing you again next time.